Hi, I'm Luis Pedri Season. I'm 17 years old and I was born on November 18, 2006. Today, I want to open up and share my story, a journey that has been filled with challenges, moments of clarity, and ultimately, growth. Growing up, I was often seen as a gifted child. I could read 3 thick books in a day, sing, dance, draw, and write. It seemed like I had endless talents and hobbies, so many that I would struggle to decide which one to focus on each day. I was truly grateful to God for all of the gifts He had given me, and I embraced life with passion. But over time, especially during the pandemic, things changed. I felt like I lost my spark. What once came easily to me now felt like a distant memory. I went from being able to read several books in a day to struggling to finish a single novel in less than a year. My academic performance dropped, and I wasn't ranking as high as I used to. It was hard to come to terms with the fact that I wasn't the top student anymore. I had placed so much of my identity in my academic success, and when that slipped, it felt like I had lost a part of myself. In addition to these struggles, I battled with insecurities, things I rarely talk about. I constantly compare myself to others in both appearance and intelligence. I used to wish I were skinnier, prettier, or had lighter skin like some of the other girls. Even though I was ranked number 1 academically, I felt like I always had to prove my worth, like my success was never enough. I pushed myself harder and harder to maintain my rank, and when I couldn't, it took a toll on me. But what I've learned through this journey is that failure isn't the end of the world. It's not a reflection of my worth, and it doesn't define me. I've come to understand that this failure was, in fact, an opportunity, a chance to grow, to reflect, and to see life through a broader and more profound perspective. God was showing me that I have so much more room to blossom. During this period, I also struggled deeply with my mental health. After many difficult moments, I was diagnosed with anxiety and bipolar disorder type 1. In a way, receiving the diagnosis was liberating. It gave me a clearer explanation of why I was feeling the way I did. It helped me make sense of my struggles and brought clarity to the chaos inside my mind. But even with that understanding, it hasn't always been easy. There's this voice in the back of my head, constantly whispering that I'm just being dramatic, that my condition is somehow a reflection of my lack of faith. I sometimes question if this is some form of punishment for my mistakes or shortcomings. It's been hard not only for me, but for the people around me. Some feel like they have to walk on eggshells, afraid that they might trigger something, while others assume I use my diagnosis as an excuse to get out of my responsibilities. But through all of this, one thing has remained constant: God's presence in my life. Even when I've felt weak in my faith, even when I've doubted myself or questioned why things are the way they are, He has never left my side. Proverbs 3 verses 5-6 says, "Trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways submit to Him, and He will make your paths straight." These words have always given me comfort, especially when I feel overwhelmed by my diagnosis. I've learned that mental illness isn't a punishment. It's not a sign that I'm lacking in faith. It's a part of my journey, and through it, I've discovered the depth of God's grace. He is the wind at my back, pushing me forward, even when I feel like giving up. Before, I was a church girl at heart. As a born-again Christian, I loved going to church and worshiping with my community. But when my mental health began to decline, I lost some of that passion. It became harder to connect with the things that once brought me joy. And yet, God has remained my constant source of strength. Even when I wasn't as close to Him as I used to be, He never stopped loving me. He was always there, waiting patiently, guiding me. And now, as I reflect on my journey, I realized that I am created in His image and likeness, gifted with both intellect and free will. I should be more forgiving and accepting of my flaws. God is helping me understand that I don't need to compare myself to others because I am uniquely made in His eyes. I am His child, and He has plans for me that go beyond the superficial things I used to worry about. Looking forward, I'm hopeful. I know that there will be still difficult days ahead, but I also know that God will continue to be my source of strength. He has a plan for me, even when I can't always see it. I've learned to trust Him completely, to submit my life to His will, and to know that He will make my path straight. This journey has taught me that it's okay to not have all the answers, and that it's okay to struggle and to be vulnerable. God is always there, carrying me through the highs and the lows. And now, I'm learning to embrace the person I am. Someone who is loved by God, someone who is growing, someone who is not defined by her challenges, but by her resilience and faith. This is my story of faith, struggle, and growth. And I know that with God by my side, I will continue to fly higher than I ever thought possible. Thank you for listening.